Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 2028 presidential election night in America. We have the Democratic candidate, presidential hopeful Rainbow Dash, with her vice presidential running mate, Higgins. On the right side, we have Amaya, the Republican presidential hopeful, and his running mate, Shamla. So
Me.
let's begin and let's open up tonight. Here we are on our first election night of the night. All right, guys, welcome. You guys all want to say hi?
Hello.
Hello.
So we have tonight, we have a couple of guests with us. We have Owen, we have Joe, we have Shamrock, who is the vice presidential Republican running mate, and we also have Marilyn, and then we will also have tonight the RNC chairman, Nancy Reagan, who will also be joining us momentarily. So best of luck to both the Rainbow Dash campaign and to the Louis and Maya campaign. May the odds be in your favor. All right. So let's talk. Let's talk about predictions that have been made, specifically about people that have submitted their results. But before we do that, I do want to put on the screen right here. This is the toss-up map. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to clean up the toss-up map on your screen right now. But these are the toss-up states tonight. These are the states that are too close to call, and these are the states that we're going to be calling tonight. We're going to be calling effectively 273 electoral votes. So we will be able to make a final determination of who will be president-elect tonight. So let's start off with our first thing. So first we have in the past, we have Rainbow Dash, right? This is the 13 keys to the White House. Normally the 13 keys to the White House predict who will win the presidency. When James Adele, the third-party candidate, was on the ticket and was running, Rainbow Dash was the predicted winner to win the White House tonight. However, because of James Adele dropping out and some possible scandals that the Rainbow Dash campaign had experienced, and the changes in the server event and the possibility of NATO going to war with the Somalia pirates, the 13 keys have changed almost practically 4 days prior to the selection night tonight, and it is projecting that a Republican will win the White House, with keys flipping from, hold on, I can't even see that. We have key 7 with the major policy change flipping. We have no social unrest. There was some social unrest in the Discord group. And then we also have no scandal. And so those are the keys that has flipped. However, the third party key has flipped in Dash's favor. However, tonight, according to the 13 keys to the White House, it is projecting a Republican will win the White House the first time since Donald Trump. And here is the projected electoral college map based on the 13 keys to the White House. They project that Louis and Maya win with 317 electoral votes, to Dash and Higgins 221 electoral votes. So, guys, what is your opinion on this? And what's it called? The 13 keys to the White House. Who do you think is going to win tonight?
Well, I mean, as Louis Amaya's running mate, I'm going to say it myself. I do not think that's what the Electoral College is going to look like. One of my biggest sayings is, expect the worst and you'll never be disappointed. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this election. And I'm going to expect a Dash victory and hope that I'll be proved wrong. But I've showed in my predictions slightly less margins of a Louis victory. I don't think that's exactly how it's going to look, but I hope we're going to have a Louis victory.
Okay. Owen, what is your opinion on this?
Well, one thing, the 13 keys really doesn't really matter. It's a thing that could project the winner, but one thing that could only project the popular vote. It did in 2000. But like, it's the voters which matters. The people who went in the polls and voted. It doesn't matter what somebody says on the keys. It matters on what the people voted about, what the people decided. And I think it could be proven wrong. We never know. We have to see when the results come in and the people all ballots be counted, and then we know who would win or who would lose.
Okay. Joe, what is your opinion on this? Who do you think is going to win tonight?
I think Louisa Maya is going to win by sweeping into the Rust Belt, which safely went to President Oliver back in 2024. And it'll be a huge shift in the electoral map, as we could see. Like, all the blue swing states that were like in the central parts of the country is starting to move back to the Republican column, and if you look at Nevada, if in states like Nevada, it could be the first time in 20 years a Republican has won Nevada.
Okay, thank you for that.
Oh, 24 years actually. I've got it. 2028.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking. Okay, I've made a electoral map prediction, and I'm thinking Louis Amaya is going to win by a nice margin. Yeah, that would be my prediction there. Yeah, 297 to 241. Michigan's kind of a toss-up for me, though. So I just...
And you want to explain why you made the call that you did? Just make it quick and brief, but explain why you chose this map and why you think it's going to be more competitive tonight, despite the polling favoring Dash in the most recent polling by 14 percentage points.
Well, I think we, on the campaign show, we've all woken up a lot of voters to Louis Amaya, and I think it'll turn out well, and we'll do well in the election.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's go through some of the predictions that we gotten from members within the Discord server and how they feel the election will go tonight. So what we're going to do is we're all just going to take a quick look at it, say whether or not we agree that the possibility of it happening, whether we disagree or agree. We're not going to go into full detail. We're just going to make a very quick determination of our opinions, and then we'll move on to the next prediction because we do have a lot tonight and we do have a lot of information to cover. If you do want to revisit this, we can revisit this back during tonight's live. So the next prediction here we have from Skylar B. Bennett. So what do you guys think about this possibility? This is probably the closest presidential matchup between Louis Amaya and Rainbow Dash, and this was submitted by the former Republican candidate from 2024.
These were very similar margins in my prediction, so I think this is entirely plausible. Not exactly what I'm thinking, but yeah, definitely could happen. Very similar to what I think is going to happen.
Okay. Owen.
What? Well, I think it's it's really a moderate choice. So there is something happening, but I will try to quickly say before anything. It's a normal prediction because it's not leaning too far right or far left. So yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I think that could happen. This could happen.
Okay. Owen, if I were you, get off whatever you're on because your audio is very shaky. Okay, Nancy, you go ahead.
Right, so I think that this is actually quite plausible of a result, simply because it's a very close election. In the end of the day, I think it's going to be very close. I don't think either candidate will reach more than 300 electoral votes. I just don't see it happening because of how close it is.
Okay, Joe.
I've just released my prediction right now. I predict 326 electoral votes for Louis Amaya.
Wow. It's very steep.
Do you end up projecting for each candidate since we don't have the map loaded tonight?
Well, my prediction is on the Discord.
Okay, so then I'll just read it for you. Okay, so we have Nevada, you have going to Louis Amaya. You have Arizona going to Louis Amaya. You have Texas going to Amaya. You have Georgia going to Amaya. Then the major flip that you have tonight in terms of toss-up states, you have Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Virginia going Republican tonight. Why did you say that Louis Amaya is going to win those states tonight?
Because first of all, I actually believe that Louis Amaya could have a potential chance of picking up Virginia, because that is where all the coal mining is, and coal miners tend to go to Republicans.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We're going to move on to the next one. We have here, and funny enough, even though despite high polling numbers for Rainbow Dash, a lot of people who submitted their votes have been consistently saying that tonight they believe that Louis Amaya will win the presidency. So that's really interesting to note. It seems like the environment, the national environment, is shifting in Louis Amaya's favor. Do you think it will shift enough that will hand him the presidency? That will be the question tonight. Can Rainbow Dash prevent the national shift towards Louis Amaya? You can even see it in the national polling. We'll pull it up in a moment. You guys have anything you want to say to that? This is like kind of similar to 2016 with the addition of Nevada. You guys think tonight about Nevada's going Republican?
I can see it happening for sure.
Yeah, I believe so.
If I can speak, this map is kind of weird because they have DC as toss-up. The only toss-up state is DC. Like, the only competitive state is DC, which is kind of weird. So I'm taking this map as a grain of salt.
I think it's a lot to add again.
Yeah, but like there's other things like it's gonna be way much more closer than 314 because there's a lot of people who there's a lot of Democrats who could vote and it's really the people's, but I believe like Michigan might go Democrat. You have like the West Belt could go. Like,
Chris.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
One of my friends is leaving. One of my friends is joining.
The only protection for the Democrats we have how do you vote about putting in this map? He projects that Rainbow Dash will win with 303 electoral votes to Louis Amaya 235 electoral votes for Republican candidate. This is the exact map of 2020 in real life between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Do you guys think we might see this map as a plausibility tonight?
I don't see it being possible that much of a shift.
Okay.
We need America first.
Want to comment on this?
If I can say, this is Teddy Roosevelt, who is a Democrat, so he's biased. He is biased to the Democrats, so obviously he's going to be more biased. Florida, Texas is close, but he is actually modeled on Pennsylvania. But Pennsylvania voted Republican plenty times. And also same with Nevada.
Okay, so let's start with the next one here. We have Metal who is joining, but his Wi-Fi or audio is not working, so we're just going to continue and just let me know when his audio does work.
Chris, one of my friends is joining. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know if it was getting through.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so as long as she knows the rules tonight, no cursing, and just be respectful, be mindful of the situation and political environment that we're currently in. Don't say anything outlandish that could flag this video. All right, this is a privilege. So let's make sure we all be respectful. I thank you all for coming tonight. So we have here on this map here, this is submitted by Owen. This is the best case scenario that Owen submitted. He submitted that Dash or Higgins in a best case scenario. Dash would win with 425 electoral votes to Louis Amaya's 113, with Louis Amaya underperforming tonight under Skylar B. Bennett and overperforming for the former incumbent president. So what do you guys
Can I explain my map, please? Because it makes sense. It doesn't make sense if I don't explain it. So what I did is I based it off a poll. It was a poll at the time. So what I did was I did a very accurate and would base it off that. So basically I did the popular vote margin with no independent, and I based it off the poll. And the poll, like one of the polls that had the most people, it showed this map. I don't believe it because I made 3 maps. I hope Chris showed all of them based off different scenarios. I used the 538 thing on all of them to try to make it more realistic on what's possible. So I don't take this with a grain of salt. This is what could happen, but very hard to do. Like, Dash needs all the voters who voted in that one poll to do this. Just saying.
I would like to just say I don't think this is realistic at all. I think this is far from truthful. I would like to know.
It was 59% to Dash in that one poll. It was 59. I think 59%, and in the 50s, a very good margin. You can look in polls, but like the second to The one that has the most people.
Someone's vacuum cleaner.
The one that has the most people. That's what I based this on. But there's more. So if Chris can show more, because this one is just a best case scenario. I made two other ones. One a more realistic one, and the other one that's a best case scenario for Republicans. So I don't even believe this. This is like, one thing. I misplaced. I misclicked the main thing. So that's a glitch for me. Not a glitch. I accidentally clicked, names for Republican. I meant second.
I'm actually hoping to hear San Benito's thoughts on that map. If that's okay with you, San Benito.
Yeah, totally. I definitely like the red parts.
Yeah, how good?
I think it has a pretty good chance of winning, you know.
Okay, can
So
we
if you guys all see your mic muted, that means that I muted you. So when you talk, unmute yourself and then remute yourself because I don't want any sort of feedback tonight. Okay, Owen, we gotta keep moving on. We gotta move on to the next projection. And then we actually gotta start talking data here, okay? So make it quick. This is your last one. This is the one that's the closest map. Explain it, then we gotta move on.
Well, I went into the link thing again, and I made it a more realistic scenario, basing it off how the past two elections. But Pennsylvania was weird. It was the closest one, being like literally a tie, meaning it could have went either way. I don't know why that happened. That was another thing with a different poll. But this is like a normal results, like a basic results, because like Michigan's a lot of liberals. Pennsylvania could flip. It's I don't know. Wisconsin is Shamrock's home state. Amaya's home state is New Jersey, but technically they both.
Chris.
You muted, Chris.
Yeah, you might be muted.
Thank you. So I had to mute Owen. I apologize. I had to mute Owen so we can keep going because we just have to keep moving because the clock is ticking tonight. So on your screen here, we have the 2028 in the event poll, and Rainbow Dash is ahead right now with 55% of the vote to Lewis and Maya's 45%. There was only one poll which was taken back on June 19th that showed an Amaya ahead with only 3 percentage points. And every other poll, Dash has led consistently. So tonight we are expecting a Rainbow Dash victory. However, if Lewis and Maya can pull an upset, that will be the shocking for the ages. Everybody tonight is not expecting Lewis and Maya to win except Republican. However, according to pundits and polling data, they say that this is a shoo-in for Rainbow Dash. This is an election for Rainbow Dash to lose. However, this is an election for Lewis and Maya to win. When it comes back to the 2024 presidential election, the incumbent president, Christopher Oliva, has won with 407 electoral votes with 67.1% of the popular vote, with crossover support from Republicans and independents. For Skylar B. Bennett, though, they only won 32.9% of the popular vote with 131 electoral votes. And this is the map that you see on your screen right here. This is the 2024 election map. Tonight, we are going to be looking at the map for the 2028 presidential election. However, Rainbow Dash needs to hold on to some of the support that incumbent President Oliva currently has, but Lewis and Maya tonight needs to siphon off the Republican support and be able to pull away enough Oliva voters to win the presidency tonight. However, we do have some shocking results that we have seen over the course of our election being the over. And when you look at that, we're looking at the presidential election turnout. And So, and the highest turnout for the server was back in 2020, with 33% of the server coming out to vote. In the most recent election tonight, we only have a high turnout of only 16% among the last midterm, and it had dropped 3 percentage points from the past presidential election tonight. The 3% will decide who will become president because they didn't go out and vote. So the question is, what do you guys think tonight, and how? What do you think is going to affect the internal outcome for the election? Who do you think is going to win based on high turnout? Do you think that benefits Rainbow Dash's campaign for the Democrats or Louis Amaya's for the Republican? Go
Well,
ahead.
I think the lower the
Hold on.
turnout,
Hold on. We're gonna go in order just so we can keep it in order. Meadow, you go ahead. Okay, moving on. Stan, do you want to go ahead?
it's sham, and yeah. I would like to add that, like, usually the lower the people who come out to vote, the lower Democratic turnout is, because in this server there's much more Democrats than Republicans. So I think that's overall going to benefit Lewis.
Okay, Owen, what is your opinion on this?
Well, I basically think the same thing as Shamrock because, low turnout hurts the Democrats because they have a large percentage of the people in the circle.
Does anyone here tonight disagree with what they just said?
Yeah, I disagree because I know we have a lot of Democrats, but also the Trump shooting might affect the vote and it might make it more Republican. I feel like I don't know, man.
Interesting. That's an interesting concept, and that's not something that we expected. But hey, it is certainly very possible. I mean, look at the polling data. Let's take a look at the polling data, shall we? Because that's the only way you're gonna know. Let's take a look at the presidential polling data, right? The average presidential for the incumbent president here, his average the presidential approval rating throughout the 8 years that he's been president was at 72% percentage point to disapproval at 23.5%. That's the average for the incumbent president. That is an astounding margin. Very, very well past what you would normally expect. But tonight, you can definitely say that the president has done a phenomenal job in the country. He has approved of his performance as president. Not once has the disapproval rating has gone up. We can actually verify that here tonight. We see that it's been approved all the way through. So, with that being said, when you look at the internal data here and you look at the approval, let's take a look here. July 15th is when the president had some incident when it came to anti-alien terrorist organizations and groups. The approval rating was originally 65 percentage points to 19% disapproval and 16% undecided, right? On July 15th, when it happened, his approval rating jumped up to 81%, with 12% disapproval and 8% undecided, with a net span of 69 approved. When it came to July 20th, though, it dropped a little bit to 78, held around 19% disapproval and 4% unsure. And then July 21st, when he started recovering, it was 89 percentage points in terms of approval, 0 disapproved, and 11 undecided. Right, and then you kind of see it held on for a little bit, kind of the same margin, and then it gets back to the original timeline. So yeah, it is theoretically possible when you look at the assassination attempt and the shooting that it's possible it could benefit the incumbent party or the opposing party, and that's really interesting. What is your opinion on this since you mentioned it?
Yeah, I really think that is something, man. Thanks for sharing, man. That's really cool, and I think it's pretty interesting just to see how real time events even affect the polls just inside of our mockery of real voting. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is certainly interesting. To make it a little bit easier to see, just to kind of get into better perspective here, because I think what you said is very important and very interesting to say the least. This is when the assassination happened, and it just jumped up. You can see that here jumped up, and it kind of stays stable. I was unable to, unfortunately, add in all the results here, but you can definitely see how it affected the race. So it's going to be interesting with your concept and what you've been saying, whether or not that affects the race. However, Owen, Leo is about to call a race. Do you want to share your screen? If so, add it in now and I'll add it onto the screen. So while we're
Okay.
waiting, who you guys think is going to win the state of Kentucky, Vermont, West Virginia, and Virginia, and South Carolina? We are going to call our first toss-up state tonight. That
I
is going to
think
be Virginia
I think
with-
Lewis is gonna win all of them.
Hold on, guys. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking, please. Okay, now you may talk.
Yeah, I think Lewis is gonna win Kentucky, West Virginia, and some of the traditional Republican states, and I think like Vermont, Massachusetts, some of those states are gonna vote Dash.
Okay, so we Owen, why do you tell me the results have been updated? Okay, so I guess we're just gonna go with this. I'm just gonna stick it in mine from now on. Okay. So I guess we're gonna call a state now because I was not told this. Okay. Oops. We just made a mishap in the call in here. Didn't ignore that. We cannot project. Virginia will win. Rainbow Dash has won tonight. Virginia's 13 electoral votes. We are projecting right now that the presumptive winner of Virginia tonight will be Rainbow Dash with 13 electoral votes tonight. So Rainbow Dash has won the first toss-up seat of the night. What do you guys think of this so far?
I'm pretty sad.
I'm gonna take.
Well, it's kind of common. Virginia is.
We were.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that a swing state got called that interestingly or that early, and I'm really thankful that Leo shared that information.
Yeah, honestly. So let's take a look at the data here. So right now we can project with the current margin that Rainbow Dash has won 16 electoral votes so far, with 50.7% of the popular vote to Lewis and Maya's 21 electoral votes, with Lewis and Maya currently ahead in the electoral vote count with 49.3% of the popular vote. When you look at that margin here tonight, it is very clearly obvious that when you look at it, you start to see the result that Lewis and Maya is staying ahead. Lewis and Maya, in order to win tonight, he needs to make sure that Rainbow Dash stays under 4% to win the presidency. He does not need to win the popular vote. He needs to win the presidency. The only time when the popular vote becomes important is when it's a 269-269 tie. So what do you guys think about this? That Lewis and Maya is competitive in the polling right now? Or you think that's a warning sign considering the fact that Kentucky and South Carolina are kind of close? Let's take a look at the margin there. Let's take a look. So we have Kentucky at 59.4%. With Vermont going to Rainbow Dash with 71.3%. To West Virginia going to Lewis and Maya with 65.9%. And Virginia with 13 electoral votes, the first toss-up state tonight, with 58.6% going to Rainbow Dash. And then we have South Carolina going to Lewis and Maya very narrowly in for Lewis and Maya with 52.3%. What that tells me already that Lewis and Maya, the fact that he is struggling in the state of South Carolina might indicate Dash might win the presidency tonight. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I think it's
If I can,
very way too early to call, and I think that even more so, like Dash's home state is Georgia. It's right next to South Carolina. South Carolina is trending blue, and it's still voted Republican by a +4 margin. That's still a pretty chunky margin. I'm just really thankful that Leo shared this information, because without it, we would be nowhere. And I'm even more thankful that the great citizens of South Carolina voted for Lewis and Maya.
Okay, thank you for that. I don't know why we're doing the campaign speech, but go ahead, go at it. So let's take a look at the margin here. So the first flip of the night for the Lewis and Maya campaign tonight is the state of South Carolina. Back in 2020, incumbent President Christopher Oliva has won that state. Let's take a look at the margin here. He has won South Carolina with 100% of the vote. So the fact that Rainbow Dash has lost significant support and it went to Luz Amaya, it might be a key indicator tonight that potentially Luz Amaya could be overperforming and Rainbow Dash is underperforming. She obviously underperformed tonight in the state of South Carolina. So let's take a look at the exit polling. Let's take a look at that. And that would be really interesting to see how that is going tonight. So where is that exit polling data? Okay. Oh, okay. I guess we don't have the margins here. Okay, so wow. Okay. All right. So let's take a look here. So in terms of political party here, the Democrats, 48% representing 48% of the vote share in for those who voted. Democrats voted 80% to Rainbow Dash and 20% to Luz Amaya. Whereas for the Republicans, who represent only 31% of the popular vote share, with only 6% voting Rainbow Dash and 94% of them voted Amaya, with an edge of 88 percentage points. That's pretty bad, especially the fact that only 31% represent the total vote share. Dash can afford to lose 20% of the Luz Amaya support. So when it comes to libertarian support, what only represent 4% of the vote share, only 50% went to Rainbow Dash and 50% went to Luz Amaya, split evenly. When it comes to green support, it only represents 2% of the popular vote in terms of 2% for voters. 100% of them went to Rainbow Dash, with 0 going to Amaya. So far, Amaya is struggling when it comes to the vote share and trying to get our support. When it comes to independence, though, that had changed. Independence is important for the election in order to win. Independents or other, for those who identify, 33% of them broke for Rainbow Dash and 67% of them broke for Luz Amaya, with a spread of 34 percentage points. For those who identified as no party affiliation, 100% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, with 0 voting for Luz Amaya. For those who are who identify as a woman when it comes to the abortion issue, only 33% of females voted for the Democratic candidate Rainbow Dash, where 67% of them voted for Luz Amaya. Despite the abortion issue and Roe versus Wade, it seems to be that they have voted for the Republican. As for those who identified as male, 42% of them voted for Rainbow Dash and 58% voted for Luz Amaya, with 16 percentage points. If anything, Rainbow Dash is more competitive in the men's vote share than the women's vote share. I think this is probably one of those shocking events. For those who identify as other in terms of gender, well, they did not vote. They represent 0 percentage points tonight. Okay, now, and for those who identify in terms of age, from age 13 to 17, 57% of them broke for Luz Amaya and 43% of them broke for Rainbow Dash. Whereas for those who are 18 or older, who represent 33% of all voters who voted tonight, 47% of them voted for Rainbow Dash and 53% of them voted for Luz Amaya. So the swing vote really is in the 18 or older group. In terms of those who identify as, in terms of their sexuality, if you are LGBT community, you broke and most likely voted for Rainbow Dash, 54 to 46 percentage points, but only a net span of 8 percentage points. The LGBT community is pretty competitive in this server. When it comes to the heterosexual, though, when you identify as heterosexual or straight, 65% of them are finding themselves to be voting Republican in this election, whereas only 35% of them voted for Rainbow Dash. Now, for those who have voted in the 2024 presidential election, this is key here because this will indicate to us the coalition. For those who have voted for President Oliva in 2024, who represent 31% of all voters, 75% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, to 25% of them voting for Luz Amaya, with a net span of 50 percentage points for Rainbow Dash. So it seems to be, as of right now, Rainbow Dash is holding on to the Oliva support, where Luz Amaya was able to gain back some of that support. That most likely is the Republican Party support. Now, as for those who identify, for those who have voted for Republican candidate in 2024 for Bennett, 27% of them voted for President Oliva back in I misread this. For those who voted for the Republican candidate, Skylar B. Bennett, back in 2024, who represent 21% of all voters tonight, 27% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, and 73% of them voted for Luz Amaya. So Luz Amaya is holding on to that support, but doesn't even change. So at this point, the this is gonna hurt the Lewis and Myers campaign. For those who did not vote in the 2024 election, who represent a whopping 48% of all voters tonight, 58% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, 42% Lewis and Maya. As of right now, I'm gonna say, based on the exit polling, it looks like Lewis and Maya is on track to lose. He doesn't seem like he had built that coalition. It seems like Rainbow Dash has held on to that coalition. What do you guys say to this? That was a lot of data, but I would like some opinions. So, Owen, go first.
Well, I think it's really interesting with some of the exit thing, like the libertarians being splitted of votes, and same with the people with the female vote was another one. Also the people who voted for B, 21% going to Dash is a very bad sign, and this is very interesting to see.
Joe, do you have anything you'd like to say to this?
Oh, my bad. Can I say something?
No, I don't have anything.
Oh, sorry. My dad beat me as a kid.
Okay.
Well, that was wild.
I don't know how to respond to that.
The unexpected thing from the 2028 campaign.
Yeah, so did anyone else have any comment that they would like to make when it came to this exit polling data?
The exit poll is definitely something we're going to look forward to seeing in the election. But then again, that's just the people who are being polled. It's not the actual voting, and that's what today is, to find who votes who.
I just want to interject here. I am going to interject. That was not factual. This is the actual polling data from those exit polling for those who actually voted in this election. This is the actual data coming in tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. It doesn't matter how they say they vote; it's how they actually voted. So we'll see.
This is actually how they voted. This is their data. This is what we taken off their Discord.
Well, how do you know that? I mean, someone could have been lying.
No, this is actually real data. Like, this is really Leo taking somebody's account and really plugging the data in. This is actually how people voted.
All right. If you
So
say
this
so.
is real data. This is the data on your screen. This is the real data. This is not fake. This is real data. This is actually how people voted. This is how the election is going currently. Yeah, so what Leo said, the data is from people who voted on the ballot. So this is real data. This is not fake data. This is real people who really voted and who came out and voted. Turnout matters here. Does it benefit the Republican when there's low turnout? Did the Republican come out and turn out in high enough numbers to rob Rainbow Dash of the presidency? Or rob the Democrats and kick them out of the White House for 4 years? Or does that just help Rainbow Dash hold on to the presidency? However, Leo Kira said, however, it's competitive. Which it is. Which it is very competitive. You can see that in the margins here. You see that in the margin. So, let's talk about the vice presidential approval rating. This might be important. So let's talk about it. At this point here, you can see here on June 13, 2024, the vice president started losing support. Even right after on May 22nd, he started getting to the disapproval rate. What do you guys think this means for Rainbow Dash?
Well, I mean, considering that Leonard Kim is really like the representative of the Democratic Party. I mean, he's the vice president. He is the party chair. He was a presidential candidate and a front runner for that, matter of fact. Considering that, I honestly think that this is going to show pro-Lewis signs, if I'm being completely honest. Especially since Dash has spent some time in the campaign to close some of the wounds with the Leo campaign. So I think it will affect Dash negatively.
Okay, anyone else would like to comment?
I would. So I want to say this: Leo and Dash is not really the same person. People don't like how Leo is doing it. If Dash was the vice president, then this would make sense. But like Leo and Dash is both different people, and people would still vote for their candidate even if the vice president, who has no relation to the candidate, who's not even running with them, or just campaigned a couple times, they wouldn't kill. They would still vote for the candidate. It's just the vice president that a lot of people don't like, and that's just the truth.
Who is the Democratic Party chairman?
Leo.
Me, I am the vice chairman for the Democratic Party, and Lenore Kim is the chairman for the Democratic.
Oh, okay. So, what party is Dash running under?
Democrat.
So both of those should tie together. If Leonard Kim is the chairman of the Democratic Party, that shows that there are a lot of people who dislike him as the Democratic chairman, which could transfer over. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's going to have to. I'm saying it could transfer over to Dash's approval, since Dash is a Democratic Party candidate, and that they are both pretty much in the same boat together.
Well, it's like saying one thing. It's one the chill, and most of the people don't really care about the chill, because one thing, they won't care about the guys controlling the party. They're gonna care about who they voted. They're not gonna focus on someone else who's not even on the ballot.
But they're still representative. I mean, think about it this way: when you look at the 2028 primary results here, it was highly competitive. This should have been a blowout for the Democratic nominee. I mean, look at the 2024 one, blowout for the incumbent president. What about the margins here? Still a blowout for the president here. So when you look at the margins here, it's nothing important to say that, when you look for the GOP, however, in 2020, competitive. Let's look at the GOP back in 2024, competitive. When you look at the margin here for the 2028 margin, though, for the GOP, not competitive. So what does this mean? That means that Louis and Amaya had coalesced around some sort of support and backing. Normally they say when a party has infighting and high competitiveness, that normally indicates the party goes on to lose the White House, especially when it's an incumbent facing high primary challenges. Right now, though, no incumbent president has received that, and it makes sense because when you look at the polling data for the incumbent president, there's no need to do that. Because if the vice president was to do that, then he will be the incumbent. He will face that. But not one point where the incumbent president has lost a significant amount of support. If anything, he had increased support from when he first was elected, back when he only got 48% of support, and he left office with 70. He's about to leave office with 72% approval rating on average. So, with that being said, go ahead.
We got more results.
We done?
Yeah.
Yep, Leo said.
Okay, I guess Leo never told me.
Leo said in chat.
Yeah.
I guess it has a delay. It has a delay then. So, Leo, if you can, just give us like a minute.
Thanks for sharing, Leo. That's really kind.
Okay. So, we're going to make a projection here right now in the state of Alabama. Louis and Amaya will win Alabama with 59.2% of the popular vote. Through Connecticut.
That's a flip.
Hold on, guys, please. Through Connecticut going to Rainbow Dash is 63.6%. To Delaware, 63%. To Illinois, 62%. Maryland, 70.2%. Massachusetts, 70.3%. Mississippi going to Louis and Amaya with 54.7%. What this tells us already that the fact that it is highly competitive in the South tells us already that Louis and Amaya is on track to lose the presidency. The fact that the South is competitive and he's not reaching the margin that Donald Trump most likely had, that's an indicator that Rainbow Dash is on track to win the presidency. We have Oklahoma going to 63% for Louis and Amaya. We have New Jersey with 14 electoral votes, going 61.5%. This is the Republican nominee's home state going towards the Democrats. And we have Rhode Island going to Rainbow Dash with 63.9%. Tennessee, Arkansas, and Indiana between 63 and 54.5% of the popular vote. As of right now, we can make the projection. Hold on, guys, please. Lewis and Amaya currently lead in the electoral college with 71 electoral votes to 45.6% of the popular vote, to Rainbow Dash at 54.4% to 70 electoral votes.
Well,
now you speak.
I just like to point out, just because the income or the Republican does bad in safe Republican states, it really doesn't mean anything.
It does matter. This is.
I mean, if you look at Donald Trump in 2016, he performed much worse than Romney in some of the safe states. He still won. He still won. And he did better in some of the states.
Well, they just added DLC, refresh.
But he still lost. So, I think it's a very...
He did a mistake. It's...
Yummers.
Hold on, guys.
Yummers.
Guys, hold on. We have to make an official call here. We have reporting from the Associated Press that they have messed up the electoral vote count. Right now, Rainbow Dash is currently ahead in the lead right now in the electoral college with 84 electoral votes. Okay.
Well, again, these are the safe states. Dash is ahead in the safe state projection, so it's only natural that Dash is going to be ahead during the safe states in the election. Nothing too much to be concerned about here. Again, safe states, as long as they vote for the candidate they were supposed to, it usually doesn't mean much.
But
so
listen,
we're not too concerned here.
The Lewis and Amaya campaign, I understand that 100%. But you have to look at it from an anchor standpoint.
Oh, I am. I think it's a very fair.
Normally we'll go Republican, go almost likely or lean Republican. That's a problem for the Lewis and Amaya.
Chris, I kind of explained it. It's not necessarily a problem. I mean, like, Donald Trump won red states by a significantly less margin than Mitt Romney did. And he still won 2016 and outperformed all polls in 2020. And again, you said it yourself in the safe state polls. Dash is supposed to win more electoral votes in the safe states. There's not much to look here. But yeah, definitely Dash is in the lead. There is no denying that, but we're still very confident of a victory for the Amaya campaign. And again, it's the swing states that matter, and that's what we have campaigned much harder than the Dash campaign in, and that's what we're going to wait to see.
Yeah. So it's interesting to say the least. Leo, I'm no longer going to make any future graphics. I don't think it's useful. I think because there's too many states, it's hard to keep track of. I'm not making any more graphics going forward for the server. I don't think it's useful. So we're not going to do that. So as you guys want to keep talking, Owen, do you mind sharing your screen? I'm going to take my dog to go to the bathroom again.
Owen, if you could.
Okay, anyway, Owen, can you please show your screen? So you can take over, please.
I don't think Owen is online right now.
I don't think Owen's online, so we'll look. Owen.
No, I'm online.
TV.
No, I misclicked. I know. I tried to unmute myself, okay? I tried to unmute myself.
I have a line of people showing their face on YouTube.
Okay, listen. I was meant to click the unmute button because it was muted for some reason.
Okay, so what I want you to do while we're waiting for the results to come in, I want you to put up that map. I sent you the link here. Use this map to kind of talk about what you think would be, as of right now, with the state that's called, who do you think is going to win? I sent you the toss-up map with all the solid states filled in, the states that we know Rainbow Dash is going to win, the stage that we know that Lewis and Maya is
I
going
need to make another screen because I only showed one screen.
Okay.
Wait, I only clicked on one tab for the screen. I had to pick window.
Okay.
I had to pick window.
Lewis, you're not gonna win California tonight.
Okay, I picked it.
Okay, you did it? What?
We won't win. We won't win California, but I'm sure that we'll win the presidency.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody went California and it's close to election, and we have multiple state calls for Nash, that's a problem. Owen, you need to fix the screen. We see our screen. You need to show the map screen, not the other screen. Anyway, you guys have anything you want to talk about while we fix this technical difficulty that Owen seemed to be having at this moment?
Okay,
Well-
this is the problem. I have to pick one. Oh my god.
Okay, you guys go ahead. So what would you like to talk about?
Well, I think we significantly underestimated Dash in New Jersey. I think the big margin there definitely came as a bit of a shocker. I mean, I by the end of the campaign, I did not expect to win New Jersey, but I definitely did not expect it to go a solid D state. So I congratulate the Dash campaign for that. And yeah, we're still having high hopes. We still definitely believe victory is achievable and going to happen. And we will continue to believe that until Dash wins 270 electoral votes.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think Dash will win 270.
I don't either, and I hope she doesn't. But we're going to fight until the possibility she does win 270.
Has Rainbow Dash campaign reached out to your campaign to let you know if they lose the election that they will concede the race, or will they not concede?
Well, I mean, Higgins himself said he's going to concede the election. I think Dash is a respectable person. I think she will definitely concede the election. So I have no worries about the transposition of power there. I think we are on the way to the White House.
Hey, real quick question. Can someone send me the 2024 map?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Oop, what the hell did just happen? Okay, you guys want to be on a specific map because Owen's not doing anything right now, and I need someone to cover for me so I can go to the take my dog to the bathroom.
I'll do it.
Change your mind.
Share screen.
Yeah, just hit share screen, and then you can do it. Because Owen doesn't seem to want to do it, which is okay.
No, I'm busy because of stuff.
Okay.
Because of the 5-year-old cousin.
Okay, Leo, are you going to release any results while I'm gone? Because I don't want to miss the results when I'm out.
Okay. Leo, just let us know when there's going to be some results. But yes, what we can see here, if on my screen, is
Stop breathing into the mic. Go ahead. Your screen is on.
Oh, my bad.
we have our screen right here.
Yeah, that is your screen.
Let me just refresh real quick.
You want to make your
Okay,
screen bigger because no one can see your screen. Make it bigger. Zoom in.
Ah. Okay, so what we can see right here is we see Connecticut. If we look at the 2024 map, however, Connecticut whereas Connecticut was at 60% 4 years ago, and Rainbow Dash is overperforming the president in some of these states. So, what do you all think?
Wait, I gotta go play back. Shit!
Still waiting on the results.
Well, so far, okay, as we're looking at the map and the results to come in, the Amaya campaign has already flipped 3 major states. Louisiana, Alabama, and South Carolina. Those are essential to the effort.
We don't have numbers out of Louisiana on here.
No, I thought I saw that. I must have. Yeah, Louisiana's there.
Yeah, but
Just a technical error, I'm sure.
But where things are going at now, how confident are you for the Republicans? Like, how confident are you for the results, despite having some underperformance in the traditionally blue states?
Right, so I think with the margins we're getting right now, it's going to be difficult, but I think we can pull it off in the end.
Agreed. Like, if you look at 2024's map, the states that Louis needs to win next is Florida, and Ohio, and definitely Georgia.
Right. Georgia is a necessity to the campaign.
Yes.
My pen pal lives in Georgia.
I have not heard of someone having a pen pal since 3rd grade.
Man,
Brian,
come on, man! I told you about my dad.
All right, let's behave in the stream. Remember. Sorry, I'm munching on some M&Ms right now.
Very good snack to munch on.
Yeah, isn't he the guy who like says mean things about blind and deaf people? I don't really like that guy.
I do not recall.
Tucker Carlson.
Oh, M&Ms. Oh, my bad.
Oh, wrong M&M. Yeah.
It's a snack. Chris is.
Yeah.
Chris is. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, I think Shamrock might be trying to get in right now.
No, I don't see Shamrock.
It says, "Let me in."
That's PM. I don't know what PM is. Oh, it says Shamrock. Okay, never mind. That just said nighttime. Who is in the third grade? That's Owen.
Let's be nice to Owen, please.
So, what have you missed so far? What have you talked about while we've gone?
So we just analyzed the results, and it seems that
Wait, who the fuck's that?
This one too?
it seems that Louis is Amaya is underperforming in all the blue states that you've won 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
So what I'm seeing so far that makes it to where the Amaya campaign has a very large hope is they've already flipped 3 states:
Do you want to take
Louisiana, Alabama, and South Carolina.
this other one's not being cooperative? It's almost like they're twins. Like one goes out, and this dog just went potty. I guess you not. 20 minutes ago, and now I have to take this one out too because she's mad at the potty.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you want to share your screen again?
Yeah, I'll share my screen again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And do you have the colon? I'll give you the colon. Like, who's breathing into the mic? We can't be having people breathe into their mic. It's weird.
Don't breathe into the mic.
Okay, I'll be back. I do apologize again.
Silly dogs. Anyways,
You silly puppies.
I'm actually quite nervous about the Sunbelts, and I think we've got more results coming in very shortly.
It seems like Arizona could end up being a slight issue. Oh, we've got more results. Lovely.
So TNN can project that North Dakota, 3 electoral votes will go for Louis Amaya. In South Dakota, Louis Amaya will win South Dakota and its 3 electoral votes. Nebraska, 2 of its electoral votes will go for Louis Amaya, the at-large district. Kansas will go, 6 electoral votes will go for Louis Amaya. Arkansas will. Wait, that's probably already been called.
You got Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico.
Wyoming will go to Louis Amaya. Colorado will go for Rainbow Dash. New Mexico will go for Rainbow Dash. Come to think of it, this Rainbow Dash character, what's her name? Literally comes from the TV shows that my daughter watches.
The state of New York, it appears, has also been called.
Yeah, New York. New York's margins compared to 2024. Oh my goodness, Rainbow Dash has just is underperforming in New York.
Interesting.
Like, it went to
and DC
and District of Columbia. It went to
What did I miss?
we got some more results in.
Hello, silly friends.
Oh, damn.
Back.
Hey!
Got some more guys. We got more results in, and it seems that Rainbow Dash is underperformed the president's margin, because the president 4 years ago won New York with 85.7%. 4 years ago.
Again, this is still like safe states that are being called. This was all kind of expected.
Yes, because whenever an incumbent is not eligible for re-election, their personal vote, their personal support goes with them. So yeah.
Well, next 2 states will be called Missouri and New Hampshire soon. At some point. That's the next 2. So
Right. So the state of Nebraska, I've got a question about that. What the districts What direction have the districts gone?
The second district
Like a
will
big
go for Rainbow Dash. First and second, and all the rest of Nebraska will go for Maya.
Okay, so I'm going to share the screen again. I do apologize. I'm going to take over. Thank you, Joe. I do appreciate it.
It's all good.
Sorry, what is
Okay,
Sigma?
who is breathing into their mic? I don't want to hear your breath. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. I'm sure many of other people do not want to hear a tornado on the microphone. So, have you projected, Joe, who won the amount of electoral votes? Or do you want me to say that right now?
Yes, I have projected that North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska at large will go, and Wyoming will go for Louis Amaya, while Rainbow Dash is projected winner in Colorado, New Mexico, New York, and all of their electoral votes, which means that Louis Amaya has 98 electoral votes to Rainbow Dash's 131.
What's really interesting too to note is that the popular vote had not really deviated too much, and that's a problem, a telltale sign for Louis Amaya. In order for him to win, he needs to make up that margin. He needs to narrow the popular vote. The popular vote is 10%. That's bad. That is really bad. So he needs to narrow up that margin. But then again, it all comes down to swing states. The problem is Leo basically does it based on the popular vote. So you vote for these candidates, he does the percentages, you put them into a generator. The generator is based on the electoral college map. So the map that we're seeing are people who voted for the popular vote winner, and then we're going to see that
I
translate.
wonder what generator he uses.
Hold on, through an electoral college outcome. Now you can talk.
I wonder what what calculator he uses to do these margins, because out of RP, I actually run a mock election.
I don't know. I'm sure Leo can tell us what generator he uses. I know he was using, if James Adele was on the ticket, he would have used 1996 margin with Ross Perot. But because of that, that is not happening. So the Electoral College margin is literally between Rainbow Dash and Louis Amaya. This election could have been entirely different had James Adele been on the ticket. So, and it's not surprising too. So when you look at the margin here, you have the incumbent president win back in 2020 in terms of the presidential election, win with 229 electoral votes. Then fast forward 4 years later in 2024, he wins an outright majority of 470 with 67.1% of the popular vote to Skylar B. Bennett at 32.9% of the popular vote. What is clearly certain is that Louis Amaya is overperforming, Rainbow Dash is underperforming the margins here. But that does not matter. What matters is who wins the most states and does that give them the presidency. That's all that it comes down to. But so far, Rainbow Dash is ahead in the popular vote, and this is why it's important. Just to say that Louis Amaya pulled out a win in the rest of the swing states, right? It comes down to the popular vote winner. 34 million are voting for Rainbow Dash so far, with Louis Amaya at 27, almost 28 million. That's a net difference of a large margin. I'm not going to do the math here because I don't want to embarrass myself on live TV. But what is important here, that let's say this was a toss-up state, 269, 269, Rainbow Dash will win the presidency without winning the majority of the electoral college vote. And so what's interesting too that I think, because when you look at the margin back in what's it called? Let's pull it up now. Let's take a look at the midterm results. Can you guys see this map here? I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna reload this. We're gonna wait. You've been signed out. Okay. So while I'm trying to fix this, I'm going to have somebody else take over because they probably signed me out of all my things. Can someone please take over? I feel like someone probably hacked my account. There's only one way. So can someone please take over for me? Like, can someone please step up to the plate?
I cannot talk much because I have a throbbing toothache.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Then I will just do it, and then I will.
Yeah, we got more results.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we can now project that Rainbow Dash will win the swing state of New Hampshire with 57.2% to 42.8%, and Missouri will go to Louis Amaya with 54.1 to 45.9%. But it's clearly obvious that the margin is not being made up by Louis Amaya. I don't know as of right now if he had the pathway to the presidency. It's too early to call. But right now, Rainbow Dash is ahead with 135 electoral votes to 108 to Louis Amaya. He really needs to win certain states tonight. So, Owen, can you please step up? Can you take over for a second so I can fix my account?
Sure. Let
Thank
me
you. And it's funny too because King Diego, who was a former Republican, nominated multiple times, he said that President Oliva was already declared the winner at this time, which is 100% true. We already knew who the president was going to be at this time. So thank you for saying that, because that means that Louis Amaya is competitive. He is competitive, but we don't have a winner outright. The Rainbow Dash is still ahead. I wonder if that support that President Oliva has will remain. Thank you, Owen. You're going to take over.
Okay. So basically, this is the map, and we can kind of see yeah, Dash is doing very well, like super well. I think Lewis is matching like these votes. I don't know if I'm correct. Like the 29 million votes. And like even like some states that usually go solid Republican, like Indiana, Kentucky, the South, obviously because Dash is a Southerner, so she has support in the South, which does slow down, which makes Texas actually competitive because it's her home state. But you can see otherwise.
Honestly, I think this has taken Dixie Kratz for Dash to a whole nother level.
For sure.
Well, yeah. Like the South is shifting more Republican, but still, it's not by big numbers. Like Alabama, for some reason, is likely, but like lean. I don't know how.
Well, that's also a flip
Okay, it's
from
likely.
2024. The president had won the state of Alabama. That's a flip for Louis Amaya. So actually, when you look at the data here, that's a flip for the opposing party. So Louis Amaya is overperforming Skylar B. Bennett tonight. That's 100% doubt, without a doubt.
Well, yeah.
But who got win him the presidency? That's the question we all want to know.
Well, one thing I really want to see, what's the upcoming states though? Let me check.
The what?
Okay, so we have the big bunch of 5. We have 5. The 5th one: California, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Utah. So basically the West Coast.
That's also
This along the area, like half of it.
I don't know.
Obviously, California's gonna go for Dash, but I want to see.
Hold on. So the exit polling actually changed. So we're going to talk about the exit polling. So I'm going to take over. I actually fixed the thing. Yeah, Leo, I don't really like the shade. It's too difficult to tell what is actually likely. I think it's too light of a color to actually know what it's going to. Does everyone here agree that it's very hard to kind of tell who's winning what state by what margin? It feels like
I can actually read it correctly.
What?
I can read it well.
Same.
It's too difficult on a screen far away. It looks like it's very lean. Like it looks like it's almost tilt almost. I don't like the color margin. I think it needs to be darker. It needs to be a little bit more representative of the actual percentage margin. I think it's a little too light of a color note for both the blue and the red. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's fill in the actual map here. Let's make the pathway to victory. Right, this is the screen. We have it the screen here. We have projected those states. We have projected that Rainbow Dash has won Virginia. We know that 100%. Dash has won the state of Virginia. So that's a solid state into the Dash campaign. However, all the other states so far have not been yet called, except actually Connecticut and New Mexico. I mean, Colorado and New Mexico. Right?
Illinois has been called.
It's Illinois.
New Hampshire as well.
Okay. All right. So this is the margin, right? Is this accurate, guys?
Yeah.
Tossed up map, right? The lowest that Louis Amaya can get right now is 125 electoral votes. If Louis Amaya goes over 125 electoral votes, Louis Amaya is overperforming. If Louis Amaya gets under that, he's underperforming. And if he gets 125, he's just where we would expect. So let's take a look and see where he is at the moment. He is at 108 electoral votes. Rainbow Dash is at 135 electoral votes. We expect, in terms of the state margin, that Rainbow Dash will get 154 electoral votes, but the state's not already been called. Hold on, yeah. I actually put in the wrong states here. Oopsie. 205 electoral votes has already been called, or are going to be called as safe for Rainbow Dash. So this is the map for right now. So let's map out the best pathway forward. We obviously know Rainbow Dash has many states that she can choose from in order to win the presidency. It won't take much. But we need to make the pathway. He needs to be able to recreate what Donald Trump did in 2020 and
What
the
shot?
to win. So what's the best pathway for Louis Amaya to win? Let's make it. Stop blowing into the mic. You guys want to help out with this?
I'm busy at the moment.
Okay. All right. So we have Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is the likeliest state to go to.
Yeah, I don't know what a third grader could be worried about.
What? I think Iowa and Ohio will be likely. If it's under 8 or 9%, problem for the Louis Amaya campaign because he's underperforming Donald Trump. In terms of Georgia, he needs to flip Arizona. He needs to hold on to Texas by either a likely or lean margin, depending on the margin there. That would be a key indicator for how they're going to win the rest of these states. He needs
I think Lewis is like guaranteed Florida as well. There, yeah.
I
think also, yeah, guaranteed Florida and most likely North Carolina as well.
Right. So this is
and
the
that
map.
would be it.
This is the closest map that we can come up with. If he loses Maine's second congressional district and Nebraska's second, this is the easiest pathway. This is the pathway stage for Louis Amaya to win the presidency. Narrowly, with only 2 electoral votes instead, this would be the map. I think this would be the likeliest map. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's like that seems like it's a very likely outcome. Most narrow possibility.
What do you think would be the likeliest outcome?
Well, I think Texas and Florida are probably those, and Iowa and Ohio are the most likely out of those states to flip.
Likely that is what you categorize them as, right?
Texas and Florida, I am, yes, and same with Iowa and Ohio.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. What other states are you gonna do next?
And then out of the major swing states that remain, we could probably give Dash Oregon, just to be safe with that real quick. I don't think that's in play.
Okay.
Out of the remaining states, I think North Carolina by a lean margin.
For who?
For Dash. Or yes, I'm sorry. Amaya.
Okay. You said lean?
Yes.
Okay.
Here we are. 234. I think Georgia is a good one, probably by a tilt to lean margin.
Okay, so we'll do tilt.
And let's also say I think Nevada actually has a good chance. With probably a tilt to lean margin.
For who?
You have it here, Louis Maya.
Okay. And that's and you're so down. You still need a couple more electoral votes.
Yeah, right. So, am I doing a best case or just the most likely scenario?
The pathway to victory. They're doing the pathway. But the match in the state's already called. What's the easiest pathway for Lewis and Maya to win the presidency? Not the best case scenario. The pathway.
Okay. Easiest way to do it, and then Arizona and Wisconsin, I would have to put in the Arizona. Let's put in the lean margin for Amaya,
Okay.
and then Wisconsin tilt.
Oh, you're doing. Okay, I don't know why I missed it throughout. Okay, go ahead.
And that one. I think that's the easiest path to victory.
Okay. And you think you're okay? So, does anyone else want to like say what they think is the pathway right now for the Lewis and Maya campaign? I got a minute. Anything important happen? We got some states that's just been called. We have these states, so we just called New Hampshire and Missouri. So Missouri went to Lewis and Maya, the Republican, and New Hampshire went to Rainbow Dash, the Democrat. So as of right now, those are the states that's been called. However, the popular vote margin has not really changed too much. I do think, however, it is very interesting to note how a third party could have altered this race. And I assume
I
tonight
refreshed, got more results.
we did. We just got new results. Oh, okay. So thank you. So we actually, okay. So we can now project it as of right now. Rainbow Dash is currently ahead with 209 electoral votes with 57.6% of the popular vote. To Lewis and Maya is 42.4% with 108 electoral votes going to the Republicans. So you can definitely see it's a lot easier to see. I think this map in terms of color is a lot easier to see. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot better, margin-wise.
What?
I think it makes it a lot better for the margins. I think it looks better.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot easier. I think it makes it so much easier. And Leo just said that all the safe states have been called. So now we're gonna start calling majority of the swing states, which we're gonna be holding on tight, and we're gonna actually see the results tick up, whether or not that will push Rainbow Dash into the presidency and give the Democrats 12 years in the White House. So this is the Rainbow Dash smart right now. It's very interesting to say it nonetheless, but I find it to be really interesting. So let's take a look at the margin here. So we call California. California has went to the Democrats with 68.1% to 31.9%. To Idaho going 61.9% to Lewis and Maya to Rainbow Dash 38.1%. Oregon going 61.6%, and Washington going to Rainbow Dash with 63.2%, and Utah going 56.7%. Let's take a look at the margin here and see how what's it called? Rainbow Dash is performing in the state of California. In California, for the 8th block that we call for President Oliva, he won that state with 62.5%. Let's take a look at the margin here, see how she's doing in California. She's actually overperforming the president by 4 percentage points in the state of California. What that tells, well, actually way more than that, because he only won 62.5%, so she's well overperforming in California. I think that might be a key indicator that she's definitely winning the popular vote, without a doubt. So we can definitely say for certain a Rainbow Dash is going to win the popular vote, but that might be a telltale sign for the Republican Party that they are in a sort of disarray. With them overperforming in certain Democratic states, that means more Democrats are more enthusiastic in Democrat safe states, pushing up the popular vote margin, which means that might not even matter come to the swing states. But the way the country goes, it's kind of like the way the swing states goes. But that's not always the case. What do you guys say to this?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Come on, Florida. Florida is where work goes to die.
Well, it's really interesting to say the least. I definitely think that, like, let's see, when will Florida be called? Let's take a look here. So we have here, actually, Florida's going to be the next state to be called. That's going to be a big one besides Iowa, Minnesota, and Ohio. So we're going to have a couple swing states. I think that's going to be a done deal. If, just say, we were to add up those swing states margins here, let's take a look. So we have Florida at 30, right? This next block could possibly decide the presidency. So let's say Dash wins Florida's 30 electoral votes, right? They'll win Hawaii's 4, right? And they'll win Minnesota's 10, and Ohio 17. If Ohio goes blue, so will Iowa. Will give them 6. That's 67. He had more than enough to win the presidency. So the next block will decide whether or not Rainbow Dash is elected president or whether or not Louis Amaya can still kind of hold on to the next block. Which the next block is going to be the state of Texas. And we will know whether or not Louis Amaya is going to hold on and be able to win his 40 electoral votes. So the question is, do you guys think that Dash is going to sweep the next selection of states, or you think that Louis Amaya might be able to hold on to the state of Iowa and Ohio?
I think Florida's going to flip.
So you think if Florida's going to flip Republican?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's interesting because almost like Nancy's about to lose her job. And the reason why they're saying that is they're saying that because the Republican, might end up blaming the Republican Party for the loss tonight if they were to lose. As of right now,
I completely disagree with that statement. I would not lose my job over that. It is not my fault. I didn't cause the election loss.
Nancy, it is gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen.
It's only gonna happen if you make it happen.
No. If Dash wins, it's GG's. You won't win the re-election.
Well,
your campaign will get like 1%.
Okay, if you say so. Whatever you say.
So we have a Republican here, John Chake. Dash will be president-elect tonight. It'll be really interesting to see because this is a head-to-head mashup where we have two servers essentially going head-to-head. We have Louis Amaya representing more of the Leo traditional wing, those who have kind of stayed in the server on the originals. And then you have Rainbow Dash, the new influx of voters and membership in the server who end up mostly came from EPL. So it's really a head-to-head mashup is who can win. Is it the original or is it the new members? This is what this election is turning out to be. And it looks to be that the new membership, the skyrocket in new membership might give Dash the edge here. Oh, okay. So we have someone here from my Tarot channel. So hello. She wants to know, what do you all have against Nancy? So Nancy,
that's a great question. I don't understand what people have against me.
There's nothing. I'm just saying the truth is the second that what you said that if Luz wins, you will
I will resign and endorse a different person for the chairman position. I will not say who at this time, but we just have to wait.
And how confident are you in your RNC chairman? Because we do have party chairman selection happening in a couple of days, and for exactly 3 days, we're going to have chairman selection process. How confident, as you at the head of the Republican Party chairman, that you will be reelected if Louis Amaya loses tonight?
Well, I mean, I think I'm very well liked within the party. I'm quite popular. I've grown popularity since I've been in the server. I think I'm very electable. I've held the party together in general. I've created a lot of unity with us. Before I was chair, everyone was in disarray and arguing all the time. So
take a look at that. Let's take a look at that map, that margin here. Let's take a look about what happened when.
Hold on, we got more results.
Let's take a look at the past midterm results. I think that would be a key indicator for how well you.
He's just changing the colors.
So this is right before you took over as leader. You had majority of Democrats swept in 2026, the midterm, with 10 governorships going to the Democrats. They won 7, whereas the Republicans only won 2, flipping the state of California and Michigan governorship, but only have 6 governors in total in terms of that election. As for the U.S. Senate, you have 55 Democrats, 45 Republicans, with all Democrats winning all 8 House seats. I mean, all 8 Senate seats. The Republicans lost every single one. And then let's take a look at the other margins. Guys, if you have a TV playing in the background, please turn it off because we're going to get a copyright strike. Or at least try to mute yourself when you're not talking. So here we have the House margin. Here we have the Democrats not at 42.69% to the Republican 30.22%. This is under the leadership of Owen Haley, the Republican who is also here tonight, and he is also a news anchor. But Democrats ended up winning 218 House seats to the Republicans 152 House seats, and then the total tally with all the caucuses and everybody putting them up together.
May I just say something real quick?
Hold on. The Democrats are 283 House seats, the Republicans 152 House seats. So this is the map. So this is under Owen Haley, the former RNC chairman, and this is right before Nancy Reagan took office. Nancy, you have anything you'd like to say to this?
Right, so Owen Haley was actually ousted as RNC chair for incompetence for the job, so I don't think he really has a say in what happens with my job position.
I'm not trying to replace you. Did I ever say that? Because it sounded like you think
You didn't say
I'm
anything
gonna
about
replace
replacing.
No, because you're
Okay,
not
but-
electable. You can't replace
Honestly,
me
I'm
even
not
if you
gonna
did
want
want to.
I don't want to because one, the job I don't like because they would just threaten you if you don't win, which will happen to you. Just saying. And
We
by
will
the
see.
way, Chris, I don't think Lewis will win Florida. Just saying. I'm just saying my mind.
Okay, so you changed your mind. You said you don't think Lewis Amaya will win Florida. You think he will win Florida?
I think Lewis will lose. Like actually, I
You
think
he will lose?
yes, because
I think the popular margin is too great to overcome for Rainbow Dash. I definitely think that he could lose. So think about it right now. Rainbow Dash has got 57.6%. Toulouse Amaya is 42.4%. In any head-to-head matchup, he's losing Texas, he's losing Florida, he's losing Georgia, he's losing North Carolina. This could be a blowout. Not as big as the margin for the former incumbent president, the outgoing incumbent president, excuse me, political leader. But I definitely think Dash would be the second most highest in terms of electoral vote share for a party in going into the election. This would be a great night for Democrats if they're able to win this election. If they're able to have the Republicans be able to flip this, that would be interesting. I mean, they had the Republicans had a high probability of winning this election because they had coalition around party support. However, the Democrats kind of had party infighting and all those issues. However, if the keys hold up as they did prior to James Adele dropping out, let's hold up on the same here. You know, if that margin was to hold true, because we have the first key. I can't even read this, but we're just trying to fill it in. Yeah, let's actually take a look at the actual margin here. Let's do the 13 keys to the White House. So we have really tonight, we can project that the midterm gain can project that Democrats won this seat. So the Democrat in this case is the incumbent majority. So true means it's true for the incumbent. False means it's not true for the incumbent party. Did the incumbent party have a primary contest? Yes, it did. So therefore, it is not true, and it is a primary contest. That goes to again. Number 3, is the incumbent seeking re-election? No, because he is term limited. The Democrat is term limited. That is a certainty for the Republican. Key number 4, there is no third party. There was a third party candidate who was running. He dropped out 8 days before the election. He's no longer on the ballot. It is true. There is no third party on the ballot that favors the Democratic incumbent party or favors the incumbent party, which is the Democrat. Strong short-term economy, right? Is the economy growing? The economy is not in a recession during the election campaign. Let's take a look. Let's see if the the economy is in a recession. Let's take a look at the growth under President Oliva. Nope. The economy is not under a recession. If anything, when you look at the margin here, the average percentages for the incumbent party is 55.55% in terms of the GDP growth. We can project that that is a strong economy that is going to favor the Democrats. Now, for key 6, strong long-term economy, that's also favoring the Democrats as well. That is key number 6. Key 7, that the incumbent party have major policy changes from the current administration. No, but let's read that. It said the incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. The key is true if the incumbent president redirects the course of government or enacts a major policy change that has broad effect on the country.
Guys,
hold on. What?
We got results.
Okay, we got more results? Okay. And then we'll revisit this. Let's see. Lewis, do not be looking at the, so let's, that said, it's over. I told you, if you win Florida, that's over for Lewis and Maya. So let's take a look at the results here. So in the state of Florida, Rainbow Dash has won Florida 51.9% to Lewis and Maya's 48.1%. Rainbow Dash also won Hawaii 4 electoral votes, 68.3%. To Iowa narrowly went to what's it called? Lewis and Maya with 50.6%. He actually lost that state in the House race, but he somehow managed to hold on narrowly. That's a key indicator that maybe he could have lost Iowa. He was very on the radar here. We have Minnesota with 57.1%. It has stayed its true identity. In terms of Montana, 54.6%, and Ohio, 50.47%. To Rainbow Dash 49.5, 53%. As of right now, I'm going to call this the presidency is going to Rainbow Dash. There is no pathway forward for Lewis and Maya to win the presidency. If Rainbow Dash won Florida, it almost flipped the state of Ohio and Iowa. That's a key indicator already that Rainbow Dash is outperforming the polls. I mean, overperforming the polls, basically. Let's take a look at the polls here. Let's take a look and see where they were on the election map, according to the polling data. So we have here in the most, actually, it's right on par. Yep, 57 to 43. Let's take a look at the margin here. Let's see the map. We have 56.5 to 43.5%. Despite a lower amount of people voting, I mean, in terms, and a low amount of people voted in that polling, it has come to be more accurate. We have known that the polling accuracy in the Discourse server has been to be very accurate. And I've been saying this again, the fact that the South is competitive for the Republican, that this was supposed to be a solid sweep for the Republican. The Republicans tonight are underperforming their best. Yes, they are overperforming where Skylar B. Bennett was back in 2024, and Rainbow Dash is not going to get the margin that the incumbent president had done. But nonetheless, Rainbow Dash has kept Florida blue for another term. And that means that if Florida goes blue, Texas is likely to go blue. What do you guys think about this?
Well, it's basically GG. It's GG's basically. We're gonna have a false pony president. We're gonna be the most humiliated country in the planet of electing literally a host. Everyone will not take us serious. Same with our enemies, and we kind of
And so how do you guys think that now we're looking at a very unlikely scenario of Lewis and Maya becoming president? What do you think is the likely scenario for the pathway forward? Like, is there
I'd just like to say something.
What?
Actually, never mind. I'll retract that statement.
Is there a pathway forward for Lewis and Maya at this point?
At this point, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's
No,
gonna be.
He would have to clean sweep the majority of the rest of the states, which is very, very unlikely.
Yeah. And do you think that, the incumbent president endorsing both Rainbow Dash and Louis and Maya as potential candidates because they are ones who don't have any sort of record of corruption attached to their name, do you think that voters felt like they were free to vote for who they wanted to vote for?
Okay, what was the question?
The question that I asked was, do you think that the incumbent president who endorsed Louis Amaya, the Republican, and also endorsed the Democrat Rainbow Dash, do you think that his popularity, saying that he endorses both candidates, were able to tell the American people, vote for who you want, because I'm happy that these two candidates on the ticket are not corrupt? What is your stance on that?
And I don't think that was the greatest idea in the world to endorse both candidates, because it's just a contradictory thing at that point.
Right. Oh, how is the House and Senate races going? Unfortunately, we didn't do that because Leo doesn't do that. I did that last election, but I didn't do it for this one because I didn't have enough time to do it. So we are actually going to be doing some special election because we have some Republicans rigging, and even Owen Haley here tonight is also one of those people who ran against himself and almost lost to himself. This reminds me, lost to himself, which is kind of funny. I mean, Nancy can find it funny too. So we're going to have some special election races in Texas governor's race, Michigan. We're going to have some governor's races in Virginia. We're going to have some House races. So we're going to have plenty of that. And then we are going to have a midterm election. So that is going to be very interesting to see how well the Dash presidency is going to perform. Now, speaking of the Dash presidency, Dash is most likely to become the next president. So let's take a look at the Supreme Court. And the incumbent president has appointed some people to the Supreme Court. So it's very likely, as of right now, the 47th president is going to go to Rainbow Dash. We can make that with certainty tonight. However, here is the current balance of the Supreme Court. It has been very Republican for quite a while, since 2013. It has not really gone to the Democrats. But we do have here where the incumbent president, President Oliva, back in 2021 to 2025, he has appointed Jack Kidd, the Democrat. Amy Coney Barrett was appointed by Donald Trump at the end of his term. James Adele was another Democrat, and Lenore Kim, the current vice president, is also serving on the Supreme Court. And then come 2025 to 2029, when he was reelected as president here, with 407 electoral votes to the Republicans' 131 electoral votes. When you look here, he appointed Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Republican on the court to replace Neil Gorsuch, Nancy Reagan to replace Brett Kavanaugh. He wanted to make sure that the Supreme Court was balanced and not partisan in any particular way. So he replaced the Democrat liberal judge with JFK Jr., the independent. Shamrock for the Republican, replacing Amy Coney Barrett. James Adele being replaced by Robert LaFolla. John Roberts being replaced by Carrie Flake, the liberal. Donald Reagan being replaced by not New Englander. Sonia Sotomayor being replaced by Mike Liberty. And of course, Lenore Kim holds his justice. What do you think is the matchup in most likely scenario for the Dash campaign? Do you think the Dash presidency and administration is going to appoint and keep on to the methodology of making the Supreme Court nonpartisan? Do you think the Dash presidency, if they were to win tonight, will keep the Supreme Court nonpartisan?
Well, and I think the Supreme Court kind of has to stay the way that it is now, unless, like, the rules of the Supreme Court, it's you stay on the Supreme Court under good behavior, and everyone has demonstrated that thus far. So she can only remove someone if they leave the server, if their character dies, if they do something that allows for them to be removed.
I'm going to interject here. I'm going to come right back to this. Apparently, we have a major call in the state of Texas, so we're going to call that. Do you mind?
Go on.
It's your home state. She's going to win it. It's a home state. You never lose your home state.
Owen, what did I just say about winning results?
I'm sorry, I didn't even know. I'm just saying it makes sense that it would go because Florida went. You literally said it like oil. You
I
said
know, but
that if Florida
I know
went,
you're looking at the results. I just don't want you to leak it. Can you not leak any other results, please?
I did not even know. I was just
It's
saying
okay.
it before you pulled it up.
It's okay. My misjudgment here. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's take a
Okay.
look at Texas here. So we have the state of Texas. The margin is 50.7% to 49.3%. That is a shocking. Texas has flipped to the Democrats. Rainbow Dash was able to hold on to Texas. So that is one of the big shockers tonight. We can now officially project Rainbow Dash is the next president, the president-elect of the United States. So we are going to make that projection right now. So we can now project that Rainbow Dash is the 47th president and is now president-elect Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash has won the presidency, holding on and keeping the Democrats in the White House for another 4 more years. So what are you going to
Oh
say?
my.
The Democrats holding on to the White House for another 4 more years. Is this how you expect it tonight to go?
No, I really thought that that we had that under control, but I suppose we didn't.
Owen, what is your thoughts?
Well, I made 3 maps, so I knew it could have done this way. It could have went fall to the left or fall to the right or in the middle. So I expected probably 3 possibilities, and it looks like the first one of the Democrat landslide is basically happening. And I think probably the rest of the states will follow
I don't
suit.
know if it would be classified as a landslide. I think it'll be like more of a. I don't know. Maybe it is a
Actually,
landslide.
gonna
It's
get
not
like
a
300
blowout
or more.
one. It's probably not like a blown out like the former the incumbent president, but it's still nonetheless. I think you're right. It is classified as a landslide.
I consider 350 electoral votes or more to be a landslide.
Well, we will find out if Rainbow Dash will win 350 electoral votes, but it's most likely she's gonna win almost every single state on the map tonight. As of right now, I don't think Amaya is going to carry any more states. I think it will be a shocker if he even holds on to the state of Alaska nonetheless. So what do you think Rainbow Dash is feeling right now? Because right now we have Rainbow Dash hasn't made a speech or hasn't even said anything in the group chat at the moment. I find it to be really interesting that tonight, state of Texas has gone Democrat since 2020. We had the incumbent president winning in the state of Texas. Let's take a look at the margin here: 71.4% to 14.3% for the Republican. Let's take a look back in. He won that state again. Ruby Blue, 83.3% to 16.0%. I'm gonna put Luke on. It's not when we have that in the background. So, with that being said here, and you take a look at the margin today for 2028, Texas is competitive and it's most likely going to flip Republican in the next election, almost with certainty. But we also must note that that was a shocker. Texas was likely to go to the Republican, but they still lost it. I mean, Democrats have lost support in the state of Texas. So Texas is one of those battlegrounds that the Republicans have to focus on in order to win the presidency next time around. But I find Texas and Florida to be very interesting as those states had went consistently Democrat 3 times in a row. Do you think it might go Democrat again in 2032?
The state of Texas, I think, has to go red in the next election, or else it's a lost cause for a long time.
Yeah, it's game over. I think the Republicans are going to have some issues right now. How do they feel about being locked out of the White House for another 4 more years? I mean, right now, we have to wait on Inauguration Day. We got to inaugurate Rainbow Dash. So Rainbow Dash is not the president right now, but she is president-elect Rainbow Dash. So they will be elected tonight, and they will be sworn in sometime next week.
I'd like to make an official statement.
Go ahead.
I'm running for re-election for chairman of the Republican Party.
Okay, there you go. Leo, you heard that. So Leo will put you on the ballot. I will be running for re-election for the Democratic Party, and so will probably end up Leo. We don't know what his statement is at this moment or at this point in time. But going back to the Supreme Court here, who M had just asked a very important question here. Chris, I was wondering how you replace all those judges since that is supposed to be a lifetime appointment. Well, originally the Supreme Court was just supposed to be one of those artisan roles, which they still are artisan in terms of the sense that I just give out these roles in order for your vote, and you can use that role to enhance your resume and give people a reason for why what to call it, why they should choose you if just say you were to run for any sort of governmental office and look at your record. Now the Supreme Court, I have given it a role and an actual purpose. I have given it the ability to become my staff team, an event staff team, where they will be able to challenge executive orders of the president if it goes against the U.S. Constitution, or even not mock up. It's not mocked up in any way. It is more so like to say Roe versus Wade, right? That's an issue. We do this so that each candidate in each election has something to campaign on, because it's going to get boring real quick if it's the same issue every election. So I told Leo, let's change it up a little bit. So the Supreme Court really is just my staff team who will only allowed to vote on, how court cases will go and how that might shake up the race. So just say, we get gerrymandering case, right? Will that shake up the race? By depending on the people who are on the Supreme Court who've been appointed by the president. It's a lifetime appointment. They can sit on there as much as they want as long as they do not become president and vice president. So that's what we're seeing tonight, is that we're seeing that scenario happen. Shamrock was on the Supreme Court, or was appointed on the Supreme Court. So he's going to be on the court. So he's going to be that conservative justice. So your question, to answer your question, is how would he remove? We wanted people who can actually vote and actually participate instead of assuming their vote. So we wanted to give them an actual chance to actually use the role, if that makes any sense. So that's why we got rid of the NPC, put real people in, so people can actually campaign and say, hey, listen, if the Supreme Court vacancy opens up, I'll put you in. And that's a way to get votes. So it's like a campaigning tactic for candidates. So I hope that makes a little sense. You guys have anything you'd like to say to that?
Oh my, I don't know what to say at this
I want
point.
to do a
What? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I did not think the election was going to go this way. I mean, there was always a part of me that always known that Rainbow Dash was going to win the presidency, but I would have liked, and I will admit, I would have liked to see a Republican president, because it would have been interesting to see how they would have fought each other in the next election based on the performances of one another. What remains to be seen, though, is how popular is Rainbow Dash going to be as president? Can Rainbow Dash hold the popularity of the incumbent president, or will he might become the first unpopular president? You don't really know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Nancy left, and I wanted to say something, but I can wait.
No,
Okay.
say it.
So, okay. So it's about like the elections thing, because I'm gonna announce something. I think
What?
I'm most likely after Dash 1. I might. I don't. I'm not 100%. I'm at like 30% sure. Might one as a third party to win. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But like I think realistically, I don't think having a pony as president for 2 terms would be good. But I have to see what the first term says. Then I'll probably actually make a full announcement.
Right.
That's just what I wanted to say.
So, what party are you going to plan to run under?
Probably an independent. I'm thinking of plenty of them. I'm just thinking of which ones would have my values. There's reform. There's just normal independent. There's I think Project Dingus. I don't know about Project. And I think I forget the other one. Maybe the Libertarian, but I don't know really about that. But like I really think reform is like the number one pick I might do. And I want, yes, the reform party.
I wonder if Leo's going to do specific ballots, the party access ballot. I think that would be interesting to see. Party access ballot. Like, will he only allow you to be on the ballot in certain states, or will he be allow you on all states? So we can now proceed project that Rainbow Dash had overperformed Joe Biden in the 2020 election in real life, with 307 electoral votes, with 56% of the popular vote, to lose Amaya's 146 electoral votes, with only 44% of the popular vote. Rainbow Dash had won and held on to the state of Arizona with 53.7% to 46.3%. Held on to Maine, which was a toss-up state, but is not a toss-up state at the moment, with 58.1% to 41.9%. And Maine's first congressional district going 65.1%. And Maine's second congressional district going very narrowly to Lewis and Maya with 50.17 electoral votes to Rainbow Dash's 49.83% of the popular vote. I think Rainbow Dash is going to win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, North Carolina, and Georgia, Alaska. Very likely. I think very likely that Alaska will be one of those states that never went Republican. I mean, never went Democrat. I mean, if you look at the state here, right, it went Republican in 2020. It went Republican in 2024, even during a landslide. I think Rainbow Dash could be the first president to win the state of Alaska since LGBT Lyndon B. Johnson. What do you think about that?
Well, Alaska does not is actually kind of more Democrat than people think, because like it seems like it's always so much Republican, but if you actually see, there's just not a lot of Democrats who want to tone out, because they actually have different registrations in real life. But like Alaska is kind of weird. It could go to the Democrats, but it's just based off turnout. If Democrat Alaskans, come out and voted in the election
Right.
for Pony, which I'm sad that we went to Quiz and then we went to now literally a pony. At this point, I don't know what president we might get. Maybe a walk at this point. Someone will literally win as a walk and probably win at this point for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, you can most likely win as a Democrat.
No,
as anybody, even a walk.
And
you can be.
I said this on another episode that no Democrat, no animal has ever won the U.S. presidency without a doubt. Rainbow Dash is the first animal to win the presidency. So that means that if Skylar B. Bennett could have been the first insect to win the White House, we haven't had a human versus another human on the ballot since 2020. And let's go over that right now. We did have an insect in 2020, but we have more humans than we had animals. First of all, we have the incumbent president right now, who's a Democrat. We have Donald Reagan, the Republican. Then you have Abraham Lincoln, the Dombie. You have Rachel Collins, a human. You have Skylar B. Bennett, a bee. You have Jaquan Fetterperson, who reform. You have Jeffrey Lee, the Libertarian, who's also human. They're both human. Then you have Conservative American Predictions, who's a news outlet for some reason running on the presidency. Then you have Donald John Trump, who ran in 2016, but didn't even get a lot of the vote share here. I only got 3.6% of the vote and got no electoral votes. But he was the former president. Let's pull it up here. He was the former president. He was the 45th. I guess he was probably technically, if you will say that, he was the first president to be out of office. But in terms of the survey perspective, not so much. The question is, do you think that Rainbow Dash will win a second term as president?
Well, it's how she keeps the economy going, and hopefully she can do it. So Reform doesn't have to want a nomination, because it's mostly on the economy and other stuff. Plus,
Right.
actually having more tension and not, because we're gonna be presumed weak with all of our enemies. They will not treat us like a threat because we have elected a pony for president. So
So now
I don't think a lot of
we
people.
have the results here in the state of Michigan and Wisconsin, and we're going to talk about what you just said and how that might affect the presidency of Rainbow Dash. Now, we're going to talk about that in a second. So, as expected, Rainbow Dash had won Wisconsin 10 electoral votes, and Michigan 15 electoral votes with 322 electoral votes to lose in my 146 electoral votes. Losing my overperformed Skylar B. Bennett, but is underperforming enough to win the presidency. So the Republicans are locked out of the White House for another term. Now, if you look at the popular vote margin here, it's a pretty lopsided margin. We have Wisconsin going 53.9% to Rainbow Dash, to losing my 46.1%, and Michigan kind of in a similar stat. Michigan going 54.9% and 45.1% going to lose to Maya. What's interesting to say the least is that the server has not yet experienced a scenario where the popular vote or the polling, there's no polling error. Like everybody tells people who they're voting for. There's no longer people lying to the pollsters and what they're voting for. You know what I mean?
Because yeah, but like the last two polls had super of turnout, which predicted like the results, so it makes sense, you know.
Right. And so, despite low turnout in this election, people have expected that the Republicans, with low amount of registered Republicans in the Discord survey, that Losing Maya might be able to pull out a win, an upset. Despite the fact that Dash led in almost every poll except one, where only Losing Maya was ahead by 3%. In every other poll, Rainbow Dash had led every single one. We're going to take a look at that now just so you can pull it up on the screen. Rainbow Dash has shot up to 55% to 45% for Losing Maya. When you look at the actual vote share and you compare that to the actual results, it's 55.9% to 44.1%. That's almost on par, exactly on par with how people voted. And let's see how many people voted in that poll. Let's take a look. In the most recent polling, we have 40% of people voting in that poll. When the election took place, we have 52 people. Which means 12 people could have voted for Losing Maya and could have altered the election in favor of Losing Maya. But no, they voted consistently and broke consistently, almost on average, for Losing Maya and Rainbow Dash. And Rainbow Dash came out ahead. Let's take a look at the 2024 presidential election results, and let's take a look and see how they broke for the incumbent president. So we have the polling error here. I mean, the polling data. There's 70%, 52, 75, 70, 48. Election day on 2024 was 67.1 to 32.9%. That's almost on par with the local averages, the last four polling data. So it seems to be that the polls are pretty much accurate for how people are going to vote, with some people maybe changing their mind. But mostly people tell pollsters how they're actually voting. They don't seem to lie. They don't seem to, be one of those, in real life where they have, the Biden voters or the hidden Trump voters, right? There is no hidden voters tonight. Americans are being openly honest who they're voting for to the pollster. The question is, how long would the honesty last? Will they remain honest with the pollsters, or will they end up lying to the pollsters so that there is some sort of fake momentum for a specific candidate? What do you think, Owen?
Well, it's really the people that if they want to tell the truth or lie, it's really their choice. We don't control it. It's what if the people actually want to tell them who they vote or get pressed by other people, forcing them to like vote in ways, DMing them 24/7, saying, "Oh, why didn't you vote in this poll? Why didn't you do it?" And that's why a lot of people don't vote in polls as they do in the elections, because they feel that the people would say stuff against it and DM them a lot, questioning.
And do you think that DMing, I'm surprised that DMing didn't backfire on the candidates. I don't know how Losing Maya campaign, DM campaigns, and how many people did they try to get out and turn out to vote in terms of enthusiasm. I think personally speaking, hearing from multiple people who said to stop campaigning, stop DM campaigning, they don't want to hear, they're sick and tired of this election. maybe there's a possibility where Leo could introduce polling a polling role, or like not even polling role. I don't think that's the right role to have. I think that means I'm open to being told, being asked to vote, like I voted role, or like being asked to vote. I think that will be the role that Leo should make, because that would essentially allow voters to say, hey, listen, my DM is open. You can message me just for things that's not related to the election in the server. I don't want to participate. But if it has the role, you can ask me to vote, and that means that the person wants to be contacted to be willing to vote and be able to hear both sides. I think that's what we should do. I think that should be introduced into the server. I think that will increase engagement and enthusiasm for the server participation. But let's take a look at the participation for election turnout, right? Let's take a look. So you see here, we have those who identified as those who have voted. And it was 110 for the first election, right? And that was before DM campaign was introduced into the server. Then it dropped to 25 for the 2022 midterms, and then it increased to 72 for the 2024 election. Then it dropped again in the 2026 midterm to only 37 voters. And then in 2028, it increased to 52. But each time the server has increased in terms of memberships, but the engagement has went down, which means that the total share of turnout has decreased. I know Leo doesn't like to do that when it comes to like what they call verified members and non-verified members. But nonetheless, when you look at the actual overall percentages compared to those who actually stayed home and did not vote, the vote share for those who did not vote stayed home consistently larger. We have more people staying home in 2026 midterm and 2028 than ever before. We had the highest turnout in the 2020 election and has since then dropped. The question is that we might end up in a scenario where we got 1,000 people in the Discord server. Not saying there will be at some point in time, but how much of a percentage of those who actually participate in the election will actually vote? I think that these people don't want to vote because they don't want to be bothered, and I think that's actually going to end up hurting eventually. What's it called? The Discord.
I feel. Yeah.
Because there's no third party. I agree, but I also think that and I want your opinion on this too. I also think it was kind of unfair for the people to be voting consistently and getting their appointments ready and knowing the candidates, and the people who ran the server, and not ran the server but ran the election and getting everything prepared, to only have the candidates drop out 8 days before the election. On the ballot, I think they should be able to vote for that candidate. They will not be allowed to get electoral votes because essentially it doesn't matter, because they're not going to become president because they dropped out of the race. But yet, I think that 8 days prior to the election, that should constitute as staying on the ballot. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, because everyone should have their voice held for voting,
The fact
and definitely,
support, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So we only have 3 states left to call. Nevada and Pennsylvania has gone Democrat right here. So let's take a look at those margins. And yeah, so Pennsylvania has gone 54 to 45. 54.1% to 45.9% for Pennsylvania, and Nevada 54.7% to 45.3%. The thing is, Shamrock didn't understand that this is based on percentages. The thing that I don't like about this kind of style of election, because you kind of know if you lost on the first couple of states. I already knew Amaya lost. I even said it in the beginning. The margin was too narrow in red states to constitute for how the nation is going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I already knew off the bat it was going to be a dash slide. That's really what it is. It's a dash slide tonight. I think that
Yes.
this election would have been entirely different. Not candidates being able to strategically pick states out and be able to compete in states and trying to like play checkers. That's really what election night is. It's checkers. It's who could turn out the most voters in each state and be able to win enough of the electoral college votes to declare themselves as victory. That's what I think. That's how it should be, because that's actually how candidates actually run. You know what I mean? He said, yeah, but this is for people who want to run in real life. Yeah, absolutely. But you also wanted to make it realistic. So in realistic sense, people should be able to vote in specific states. I know you said it's a simulation, and 100% I agree. It should be a simulation. I also think that toss-up states should at least have some states for candidates to actually get out to vote in those states. You know what I mean? Because that will give a chance for the president. I don't think that. I think there's going to be a point in the server saying that as a person who's registered Democrat. I think there's going to be a point in the U.S. in the Discord server where people are going to say enough with the Democrats, and they actually may not participate in the election again, because they might just say, we're never going to win the presidency. There's too many Democrats compared to too many Republicans. When you look at the actual state by state and you actually vote in each state, it keeps it competitive because you don't know what the next state result is going to be. In this kind of simulation, you kind of already know what the next state's going to be because you kind of can already make that assumption. So that's what I was thinking. That's a little food for thought here. So, yeah. So we're going to call the last couple of states. So, Leo, if you just want to call the last 3 states all at once, by all means, please do so. But I have to go to work tomorrow morning early. So if you can do that, that would be great. So this is what Leo said. Popular vote matters. You need a base and to DM campaign a lot. Yeah, I definitely think that DM campaigning is definitely important, and so is the popular vote. However, there is an idea that I had. And you know how the midterm election and the House election and the Senate map and the Senate election, people always ask them what purpose could they serve in this Discord server. So I came up with an idea. And you know how you said the popular vote could determine the winner of the presidency, right? Well, what if, just say there was a midterm that was already made. Just say, let's do an example, right? The 2026 midterm, it went Democrat in the House, and it went Democrat in the Senate, right? Just say there's a 269 tie. Instead of having the popular vote winner decide the presidency, it should be based on how people who participated in the 2026 midterm. So, like, just say the House, for example, would normally vote for the party in power, right? So let's say the Democrats are in power in the House, and essentially that should put the Democrat as president. But just say the Republicans won the U.S. Senate, the vice president should be the Republican. Just say they won the Republican Senate. In this case, we have the Democrat winning both the U.S. Senate and the House. I mean, let's take a look there. Let's take a look at the current government mashup here. We have 407, but then here you look at the 2026 midterm, you have 55 to 45, 283 to 152. Essentially, that would be on par with the server popular vote, and this will give meaning to the House and get people to actually turn out and actually participate in the midterm, because the midterm could actually dictate who could be president in the head-to-head mashup if no candidate reaches 270, just like in real life. But there actually does not need to be people voting. There does not need to be voting at all for in the Congress. We don't need a functioning Congress. But you could do it based on that, and you can also do the Senate, based on whoever wins the U.S. Senate will decide who wins the vice presidency. God forbid it goes to the House and the U.S. Senate in the head-to-head mashup. I think that would be interesting because it kind of stays more realistic. I mean, that obviously, again, food for thought, but it does give purpose to the midterm and definitely gets people out to go and vote. So that's my thought, Leo. I would like to hear what your thoughts are. I know I didn't mention it to you before because I didn't want to say it because I felt like if I said it on text, you wouldn't understand it. But if you hear me explain it, it might be easier for you to understand. I definitely agree with the popular vote thing, but I think the popular vote should be used if there is no midterm prior. Just say we canceled it or something happened. I think the popular vote will determine the president if, in case there's a candidate who doesn't reach 270. But if there is a candidate and there is a midterm that happened previously, I think the midterm should kind of determine the president, and it will kind of give some sort of leeway to the midterm. I mean, it's again food for thought. We have news report politics. Rainbow Dash now faces a threat from X Ping. From who? I didn't approve that. Who said that? Unless that's in the server, then yeah. I mean, we definitely do have. Oh, so you agree? Okay, so yeah, if you think it's a tie, yeah, midterm results determined. I think that's absolutely right. I think it'd be really interesting because it will kind of stay more realistic. So I'm glad that you were able to come to that determination. I definitely think that the popular vote should be on there listed as a backup in case we don't actually do a midterm. I don't know how a Civ is doing the midterm, but if a Civ is doing kind of like a light midterm, I'll talk to him and kind of see what he's doing to kind of get an understanding and see if we can even make this possible. So we'll take a look. So let's see. So we have the final results here. 389 electoral votes, with Rainbow Dash winning 55.6% of the popular vote, and Luz and Maya 44.4% of the popular vote, winning 149 electoral votes. We have called multiple states tonight, so we're going to call them right now. In the state of Alaska, we can project that Luz and Maya narrowly won the state of Alaska with 51.5% to 48.5% for Alaska with 3 electoral votes. In the state of North Carolina with 16 electoral votes, Rainbow Dash has held on to that state with 52.9% to Louisa Maya's 47.1%. And Georgia, 16 electoral votes with 53.7% to 46.3% of the popular vote. So we can make that this sort of determination. Rainbow Dash has won this electoral college. So we're going to put that map in right now. So I find it really interesting, nonetheless, that, do you guys think that the incumbent president popularity has helped Rainbow Dash, or you think that didn't have an effect at all? Just because he was a very popular incumbent, you think that helped Rainbow Dash across the finish line? But I think it did. I mean, if you look at the results, I mean, that's normally how it goes. I mean, this is kind of like Ronald Reagan style presidency. I mean, Ronald Reagan won with almost a landslide, almost 525 electoral votes. The incumbent president won with 407. And then you have this map here with 389. So Rainbow Dash kind of kept the coalition. Let's take a look at the coalition here. I want to take a look and see the exit polling data. So let's see. So we have, in terms of the exit polling data, 80% of those who voted. Actually, let me update this. Let me see if this is updated. But I want to see how people voted. So for those who voted for Rainbow Dash, 80% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, 20% for Luz and Maya. For Republican, they had a little bit of leeway, but Republican kind of stayed towards Amaya. Let's see, how did they vote in the midterm? I mean, in the 2024 election. For those who voted for Oliva, 75% of them voted for Oliva, 25% of them voted for Luz and Maya. For those who voted for Bennett, 27% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, 73% of them voted for Luz and Maya. And for those of them who did not vote in 2028, 58% of them voted for Rainbow Dash, 42% voted Luz and Maya. So what's really interesting is that Rainbow Dash held on to the Oliva coalition. He held on to the Oliva coalition with 75% of those who voted for Oliva and took away support, 27% of support from Skylar, and that was able to spit out this map. I mean, it makes sense though because he only held on to 75% of the vote share, and so the vote share of President Oliva. So you can see here, this is the map, 107. Then 4 years later, 389. Pretty good. I mean, in terms of the popular vote, it's definitely a lot closer than 2024 because we had 106,000. Oh my God, 106,324,142 to 52 million to 76,000 and 792,000, whatever. Then you go into this one, you have 89 million to 48,062 voters for Rainbow Dash. And you lose Amaya 71,134,6,600. I really bashed that, but you get the gist here. The popular vote matters, and so does the coalition. The question is, can the Republican build upon Lewis and Maya's coalition? Can Republicans build upon the coalition? That's the question that remains to be seen in the next election. We'll see you in 4 years. Thank you all, and we'll see you and have a great night. Thank you for participating, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.